Those are all valid. So you write down def function name, body of the function. Now please note, unlike function in C, it may or may not return anything. If you want to return, you can say specifically, say return something. As a last line, you can write return something. But it is not a must. So your function may or may not return something meaningful. So rules are there. Body of the function. Again, say that def print twice Bruce. So Bruce is a parameter, print Bruce, print Bruce. Now I can call this function, the calling of the function is done like this, print twice span. So the span will be replaced by the parameter and it will say print twice. That's all. It is a very simple but very effective way to show parameter and how we are called and the parameter is passed. That's all. So print twice math.py. So math.py is the value taken from the pi and it will be printed twice. That's all. Your hand on the Tamil bottle. Is it clear or making very different? So far, I don't think there is any, much different than most of the other language. Why function camera okay like so I some examples. You can know about DNA sequence. Example you can note down later, but what it happens is this sort of DNA and this sort of DNA, one of the very important criteria is to find out where there is a difference. The reason is, imagine this is a very small one, you can visually see it. But imagine this is a billion number, another billion number. And a few have actually changed. And that change is called the mutation. And because of that, you fall sick. So the best way, just to give you an example, that whether a person is affected by certain specific disease, you treat a normal cell, their sequence, and compare it with the infected cell gene. If there is a difference, then you can find out, okay, that person is infected. Okay, so just to show you. Strings. Okay, strings is, say, any string assigned to a variable. Now, one very important thing is, index is offset from 0. So that means like C, huh? So this is fruit, banana, this sort of thing. I can say length of the fruit is 6, but the index is, I can say, okay, this I'll explain. Say A is equal to Monty Python. I'll write it down and then you will clearly understand. Because of the formatting, there is a small issue. Just two, this part is important. Say S, this is a string, Monty Python. So, what is len of S? Anyone?
11.
Huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So len is 12. So it returns 12. That is one. And then, what is this? If I say print, now this is, please note, because this is one of the important and different concept. This is called string slicing.
0 to 5.
So print, this implies that you start from 0, go up to 5 minus 1. So the first 4 letters will be printed. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 to 5 not. 0 to start, so 6 actually. And if I write, say Monty, this one, 6 colon 12. Now I'm starting from 6 up to 12 minus -1. This slicing, this is called slicing. Now this is very important in Python for string, for list, for list of list, and also something which we will just mention called data frame. They are all same concept. It's important. The operator name returns the part of the string from nth character to mth, including the first but excluding the last. -1. Okay. Strings are immutable. Again, একটা জিনিস আছে এখানে আমি লিখি string is called immutable. That means something whose value you cannot change. So this is unlike array in C or C++. On array you can change the elements. Strings in Python you cannot. But you can of course concatenate or do some operation to get a new string. Should I allow? Okay. String slices somewhat edit. Strings are immutable. You cannot say make greeting 0 equal to j. Replace h by j. You cannot do this. You cannot replace it, but you can do some other operations to do it. So that means what you are doing is you are adding one and then the remaining part of the string into a new string. Okay. There is another operator called in. This is also true in all of these. Operator in means a in banana true, c in banana false. So it's very simple. If something is there within that string, it will give you the yes. If it is not there, it will give you false. So there are a lot of string methods. Methods means functions which are there inbuilt to the string. Some examples. I am skipping file, but just to mention that Python can read, write files, can create, append files too. With the help of its library, Python can read any type of file that they are currently in use in Earth. Okay. Slightly going back, একটা buzzword যে লিখেছিলাম list, একটা জিনিস I missed out at that time. I cannot go back now. You remember, no? Big data, Hadoop. Now, excepting the first one and the second one, almost all other things you can actually do with the help of Python very easily and simply. And this is one of the reasons why currently in the last 2 years or 3 years, Python is one of the top 3-4 languages used in the world. Now, please know, two things you can try to find out. One is the Gartner that graph to find out what is the latest BuzzFeed, and the second one is that which is the most commonly used language in the world. Now, for the last 2-3 years, the fight is always between C and Java, closely followed by C++. But Python is always there either in the 3 or in the 4th position. So that is the kind of popularity Python enjoys. Okay, so function I will skip totally, but you can read, write functions. Read, write files using Python. I will come back to something else. You can actually read an entire file, or you can read line by line and so on. Okay, I'll writing. Okay. This is again. Now there are. Okay, can I take a 2-minute break? Potential cases of fraud detection not only in PayPal but also credit card fraud detection is something which is extremely useful nowadays, being done by most of the big credit card companies. And recommendations. Of course, recommendation is a birat thing. If I can recommend correctly, then you are enticed to buy or see those products. Now, recommendation engine, of course, itself is a huge topic, separate. There are types of recommendation, content based, similarity based, and so on. But a recommendation engine is one of the application of ML. Online search, which I said, constantly improving what the search engine understand. Every time you execute a search, the program watches how you respond to the result. But in fact, me and my wife and my daughter, we all unfortunately are from the same stream type. So we say that tomorrow is not really that Google will say, hey, tomorrow kalke ki korte hobe. This really they can now say by just learning, by the habit of what we are doing. So this is maybe, it's a good or a bad thing, I don't know, but it is. So when you click the top result and stay on that web page, we assume you got the information, or click on the second page or type in a new search string without clicking on. So then it will change, surmise the search engine, and the program will learn from the mistake and deliver a better result. Actually, it does like that. I have tested it. Natural language processing again is used, exciting application across. Can be stand for customer service agents or more quickly route customers to the information they need and so on. Some more use case, some more usage. Typical, now predict whether a given user will become a paying customer based on activities during first day, week or month. Paying money? No service provider. Whether there will be a paying customer or not. Whether there will be a defaulter or not. Detect spammers. Classify a song genre. This is again based on only on signal level features. Otherwise, do you know how songs are categorized into different genres? They are normally done by human experts. Yeah, it's classical, it's pop, it's Hindi, it's Bengali modern or whatever. Now even once you do this classification by a set of experts, now ML program can be used in the same fashion to train and predict a new song and then check the result whether that is right or wrong by our expert. Have you noticed that? You can think of the application now. Hajar gan roj berochche. It is not possible for an expert to find out each song and tell, okay, this is Lokgiti, this is Rabindra Sangeet, this is whatever. Recognize a character from plain image. This is again, detect based on accelerometer and gyroscope signal whether a mobile device is still walking upstairs or lying vertical or horizontal. And depending on that, I can in fact find out what the human being associated with is doing or not. যদি না হিন্দি বইয়ের মতন আমি লিফটে মোবাইলটা দিয়ে চুপ করে দাঁড়িয়ে থাকি, that's a separate story. Now, all these problems share a common assumption. You need to predict something completely unknown at runtime, but you have enough ground truth or data, that is level records and computing power to let machine learning solve the problem. Now, this 3 lines is what I have explained here, if you have understood. Types of ML, there are, mainly 2, but some people say 4, but one is called supervised learning. In this setting, we provide a model, a training data set which consists of data and true levels done by human beings. Given this data, a model is learned. Obviously, more the data, the better the model will perform. And then on unknown example. Key factors here are that model should generalize to unseen examples. Classification, regression, ranking, all fall under this type of learning. Supervised মানে কেউ একজন আছে যে বলে দিচ্ছে this is right, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong and so on. This is supervised. Unsupervised, let us see. In this setting, the model automatically tries to organize data without any labeled examples. This is very difficult, and examples of this include clustering of data, summarization, etc. Data is organized based on similarity of data items. Example include clustering, k-means, anomaly detection, and etc. ये practical example क्यों जानो बोलते पारबे? Second one है
In the title, news headline. News headline. What will be the headline of my
news না মানে তা নয় মানে আমি একটু অন্য একটা practical example expect করছি you see when I am saying anomaly detection কথাটার মানে কি
opposite of geological?
no okay I mean I don't know how many of you are aware that web traffic say you have a server and people are logging into the website and viewing, and any web when you hit a log is generated and it is stored in your web server log and there is a definite pattern of it. There is all the fields and everything has got a fixed format and meaning. Now anyone doing this is good. Now I can write a program to continuously read that log and find out that whether this every hit is generating a similar pattern or a totally different one. Totally different one কখন হবে? Now when I am trying to, let's say, do a spamming. Spamming means I generate forcibly data, I mean log or call to your website to bring your website down. So that will be not normal. Why? Because in order to bring your website down, I need to generate very quick website hits, maybe programmatically. So ever think of that the person who is studying say this is the server and this is the log and it is reading normal pattern. Now this is the normal people which are coming. Now I am say a malicious guy who is now trying to bring down your server by hitting too many times. So my request will be maybe hundreds per second. So whenever I am detecting that, I can then block you. So that is what called anomaly detection, and this can be sort of thing nowadays is being done through ML. Earlier this was used to be done by human being. Human being used to check periodically the log and then react. So this is very big difference. Okay, other types are semi-supervised, which is a hybrid version between supervised and unsupervised. So whereas some data is labeled, while a large pool of data is unlabeled. So that is reinforced, where algorithm learns a policy of how to act given an observation. Every action has some impact in the environment, and the environment provides feedback that guides the learning. So reinforced is again getting a feedback from the environment. Now please note that actually we will be discussing most of the time, and most of the work also is done on these two, particularly on the one, because one is what the prediction is all about. Okay. So what is supervised learning? Most successful kind, an automated decision making in this setting, which is known as supervised learning. User provides an algorithm with pair of input and desired output. Algorithm finds a way to produce the desired output given an input. In particular, the algorithm be able to create an output for an input which has never seen. So that means again a new data, if it comes, it should be able to correctly predict it. That's all. This is the basic funda of supervised. So going back to our example of spam, using a machine learning, the user provides algorithm to a large number of emails which are input together with the information about whether any of these are spam or not spam, and the desired output. Given a new email, then the algorithm then should produce a prediction whether it is a spam or not a spam. So supervised again, this is read it, you can it's very English plain. Some typical examples of supervised learning can be identifying the zip code from handwritten digits on an envelope, determining whether or not a tumor is benign or not from a medical image, detecting fraudulent activity in credit card transaction. Credit card transaction fraudulent ki kore bar kore, any idea আছে কারণ? হ্যাঁ কি হলো? আরে সব আইটি ছেড়ে মেয়ে ফটাফট বলা উচিত। What is normal logic says? Forget ML. Normal logic কি করে বলে? How do you detect? এখানে interesting পার্টটা হচ্ছে কি বলে তো? Do you know how much time is there to detect a fraudulent activity? The moment I enter the data and I'm buying something and the bank is approving, that approval takes maybe a few milliseconds. During that time, the bank analyzes my pattern and tries to find out whether it's a fraud or not. Now that's a millisecond I am talking about. You have purchased, I'm sure, most of the things by using credit card. You know, when I select a product, go to the pay page, select my credit card, give the details, say pay, then give my CVV and other details, and then pay. That's it. Now whether I am a fraud or not fraud, how does bank knows? बुद्धि लगा के बोलो।
By sending OTP.
हाँ? हाँ?
OTP.
না না OTP তো ঠিক আছে, OTP দিলেও দিল না, সেটা না। That is security.
If I'm not using hidden any number of times, I have read.
Abnormal transactions.
How? You are almost saying hot. কিরকম? বলো। You are right.
If
But
my
how?
usage is like 50,000 a month or like that, and if I'm suddenly paying for a higher amount, then it may.
I don't know how many of you have actually got a call when you have suddenly used a very big amount. You are normally, let's say you are purchasing using your credit card 1,000, 1,200, 2,000, 1,000, 500. All of a sudden you go to buy a TV which is 35,000. When you buy and everything goes okay, the charge slip is also there. Within 5 minutes a call comes from your bank saying, am I talking to Mr. Niyogi? Have you used your credit card for say 35,000 to some shop ABC? If I say yes, then sir, okay, sir, okay. How does it that call comes? Huh? It's basically every person's buying pattern is being monitored in a way. Number one, frequency, amount of purchase, and what it is purchasing. So analyzing this, if it finds that it is somewhat similar, then it doesn't say anything. But all of a sudden, suppose I normally buy, let's say, 3 things in a month. But tomorrow, someone maybe fraudulently has taken my card and trying to buy 5 things in a day. So there is an anomaly. So then it will try to find out why this person all of a sudden, who was buying only 3 to 4 things a month, is buying 5 things per day. And maybe the amount also, and so on. So this is how it tries to do it. Okay. Supervised some of the common algorithms that are there under supervised are logistic regression, decision tree, support vector machine, k nearest neighbor, Naive Bayes is based on a theorem, random forest, linear, polynomial, SVM. So lot of Hebrew, and this to me they are all Hebrew. Because the basis of all this is pure mathematics and statistics. And if you really, as I showed to you, that trying to find out the optimal function for a given set of data is nothing but a statistical problem. And to find out the statistical problem and its code, believe me, is very difficult. But thankfully, this is where the scikit-learn comes. Scikit-learn library has functions for each one of them, and I don't need to write the logic of support vector machine. I only need to know the use of it. That's all. Have you understood? You can actually write. Someone has, of course, written it. And someone is writing, someone is improving upon, someone is doing a huge research on SVM. There are so many variations of SVM also. Don't worry, ami jani na. But I know that there are variations. Okay, we'll touch upon some of the meanings of this, not the algorithms. And I will not go into the maths and stat of it, because that's not the purpose. Eita bhalo kore bujho. How a supervised learning workflow works. যদি একটু এটা মোটামুটি বোঝা যায় এই র ডেটা আমি বললাম যে ট্রেনিং ডেটা then you do a feature extraction আমি বলবো পরে কি and then train the model and then the model is evaluated. If it is not, then again train the model, again feature extraction and so on. So this is one loop which is the training part of it. এটা কি বোঝা গেছে না আমি আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে এবার একটু উঠুক তো hey how many of you have actually understood so far হাত তোলো তো দেখি মানে মোটামুটি বুঝেছো আমি বলছি না 100% but more or less okay great either you are brilliant or I am brilliant or both are saying false has to be like that. Now once we build this model after a number of loops or whatever, then comes this second part. Now if a new data comes, I will extract the feature, I mean feature extraction ta bolini pore bolchi, and then I will predict as per this model and level it and find out whether this level is correct or wrong. So tar mane any supervised learning workflow te there is a two big steps. One step is to learn and train. Part. Once we do this, I need to do this and find out whether I am right or wrong. Is this okay so far? Unsupervised. Sorry. It is my point. That was quite foolish of me. This is also machine learning, but in a destructive mode. Okay. Unsupervised learning, only the input data is known and there is no known output data given to the algorithm. While there are many successful applications, they are usually harder to understand and evaluate. Examples is identify topics in a set of blog posts. Now, this is very simple. Why? Basically, what I am doing? I am doing categorization. I have a set of blog posts. Segmenting customers into groups with similar preference and detecting abnormal access pattern to website. So these are some of the examples of unsupervised learning in ML. Some common algorithm are K-means clustering. So these are all clustering. Some form of clustering.
Say if there is no output to compare, then how are we so sure that the categorization is
May not be correct, may not be correct. But what I am saying is, let's say, this is the data. What I am writing, yeah, I'll make you understand. This is not a very difficult thing. Imagine that I have a data set like this, say some name and then age, then years of what do I say, years in college, only this, name, age, years of college. This data is there like this. Now based on this, I can actually try to group into a array called, which is years of college between 1 to 4, between maybe 5 to 6, maybe, I mean just not only college, maybe going forward like this. This sort of thing I can group. It is only based on the similarity. And this is the known data to which we check. There is no, I mean classification. Sometimes say, I can have a data like say, height and weight, and then try to predict, depending on class chart, whether the person is male or a female. Normally, mind the word normal, height and a bulky would tend to be male rather than female. Normally, there are exceptions. So this is where clustering is, that's all. Okay, English, you can just read it. You might describe users by their age, gender, when they created, and so on. Now, this line is important. Each entity or row, that means one row of data, is known as a data point or sample, while the columns and the properties that describe these entities are called feature. What you know, feature extraction? Feature means in this one, this is one feature, this is another, and so on. There may be maybe 300 features. Okay, so I can extract some of them to get a meaningful idea. Now, normally what happens that in practical example, these features are huge. So comes the question of something called reduction of features. How do I reduce? Say this, instead of 3, this was 3000. So you feature 3000, analyzing them would have been a very tough job. So how can I do a reduction of features till get the job done? That is also there. We will discuss a slight part of it later on. Now, why Python in ML? Python is like Swiss Army. It is very easy to learn. Python has become the lingua franca, and default for many data science thing, and it combines the power of general purpose with the ease of use of domain specific like MATLAB or R. Now, MATLAB and R both are very, very common in data analytics or that sort of domain. But Python is now replacing it as libraries for data loading, visualization, statistics, NLP, image processing, and more. So this is one of the most common use of Python and why it is used in ML. The vast toolbox provides with large array of general and special purpose functionality. You can also use complex GUI web services for integration into existing. Skikit, sorry, this is a bull. Skikit, banalai bull. Skikit, as I wrote, this thing is wrong. I missed it. Skikit is S-C-I-K-I-T. Choto hate, learn. This is the library which is used in ML very easily without really bothering into the math and statistics behind it. We will come to learn about that also. This is a comparison, skipping between Python and R. Both are used heavily. So the Saramsho is, so both languages are equally good. Depending upon your domain and place of your work, you have to smartly choose the right language. Now, business users usually go for R, but technology people prefers Python. True. Now, scikit-learn is a machine learning library. Its goal is to provide a common set of algorithms through consistent interface. It is free to use, free to distribute. Anyone can easily obtain the source code, and you can actually see the logic and change it also. It is constantly being developed and improved. Number of state-of-the-art machine learning algorithms. Believe me, boss, all those logic that I described, there is a function in Scikit to use it. And they are all similar to use. So if you learn how to use one of them, you can learn the usage of all of them. Without actually going into the behind the scene to know what pechoner onkota ki. You don't have to actually understand. In fact, I don't know the maths behind it. But I know how to use it. That's it. It's very popular and widely used in industry and academia. So you can have a documentation which is there available online. There's a huge documentation. So reference is this. We break for okay. These are some of the very good books in machine learning. I will give you also later on one of the other. Learning machine learning in Python. That's all. We'll break for lunch. I think we'll come back in next half an hour.